While the idea of candle making in 2024 still excites me, I'm definitely proceeding with caution. Hello everyone, I'm Jeff Standley with Standley and Crafted, and today I wanted to talk about going into 2024 and some of the worries that I have for this year. Now, if you saw my last video, I'm definitely positive for this year, looking at a lot of things that I think will end the year honestly in a much more positive note than 2023 was, but I'm still proceeding in 2024 with a lot of caution. There are still a lot of uncertainties out there, just with the economy, with the industry in general, with supplies coming in and out. And that's kind of what I wanted to talk about today. Like I said, going into this one, very excited. A lot of enthusiasm going into 2024. Like I said, there's a lot of collabs coming up. There's a lot of markets coming up, phasing out a lot of things that were giving me some worry that are not going to be there this year. But like I said, there are still some concerns. The economy, and again, I am not an economist. I don't watch a ton of news. I just kind of pay attention to what's out there. Basically what most people do. I do listen to a few different podcasts. I do watch a couple shows that talk about this kind of thing. And again, for another year, they are talking about the economy slowly getting back to where it is. And that's kind of the way I'm approaching this year. I'm definitely going into this year kind of the same way that I did last year's video, approaching things with a lot more strategy, going into it with a little bit more forethought, because again, you just never know where it's going to end up. And like I said last year, and I'm going to do the exact same this year. So for me, one of the biggest things I'm getting back into is getting back into the candle making, the farmers markets and things like that, going back around, getting into some of the stores. So that's going to be the main focus. And before I do that one, I'm basically going to go through and really narrow down my candle line, figure out what I want to put forward and what I really don't need, just kind of like right now. And that's exactly the same thing that I would tell anybody that's just now getting into candle making for 2024 is I would pick what you want to do. Don't overbuy a lot of supplies, because last year was so tough. This year is still going to be a hill climb. And I definitely don't want to see people go out there and get a ton of stuff thinking that this is the easiest thing to get into, because there are a lot of things kind of going against the candle making industry as a whole right now. And like I said, the main thing again is economy. When the economy gets tight, wallets get tight, and candles are one of the first things to go, because people really don't need $20, $30, $50, $60 candles when they're worried about getting groceries. So take your time, plan out what you want to do, and buy supplies as you need them, or the supplies that you know you're going to need, which for me means not going out and getting a ton of the new jars that just came out that look absolutely incredible. For me, I don't need to spend the extra time going through and doing a lot of the wicking and the testing with the waxes, different oils and everything like that in a new vessel, when I know 4 or 5 that absolutely work for me. So that's what I'm going to focus on. And honestly, that's what I would tell any new maker out there to kind of focus on. Pick 1 jar, 2 jars, and really focus on that one. And definitely don't overextend yourself. And that's kind of the key to this year. And as things start to grow, if the economy starts to grow, you'll definitely see it. If you're in markets or in stores or anything like that, you're going to see sales start to pick up. So you'll know when it's a good time to go out there and maybe get a new jar to test out. Buy another case of wax on top of the one that you normally get. If you normally get 1 or 2, get 4 or 5. The other thing that I would tell people to do, and this is another thing that I'm doing right now, is secure your markets early. With so many people getting into the candle making industry over the last couple years, getting into markets has definitely gotten a little bit tougher depending on where you are, but it is still something that you can get into relatively easy if you plan for it. And the biggest thing you can do to plan for it is get in there early, which is now. Most farmers markets start probably March, April, somewhere in there, and they start taking applications in January. Some of them will do them in December. Most of them are January and February. So start looking for markets right now. Make sure that you're getting in there the day that they open, because if you can get your application in there the minute they open submissions, they're going to look at yours first, and you will be kind of not really first in line. Again, depending on the market, sometimes you will be first in line. A lot of markets will take in makers that have been there previously, and if they drop out, then you'll be first in that line for whoever's waiting. So the earlier you can get in and the more that you can apply for, so that if you do miss the 1 or 2 that you really want, you've still got 2 or 3 that maybe you can fall back on. And the other thing I really want to stress to new makers, and this is something that comes up in the Facebook group a lot, and that is pushing your product, pushing sales is a lot tougher these days. And it's not because there are so many people in the market which there are. I'm not going to gloss over that one. There are a lot of people in the maker market right now, but I always stress there is so much opportunity out there for everybody. But the other thing that goes along with opportunity is years where you have to hustle harder and years where it's a lot easier to get things done. And this is definitely one of those years where you're going to have to hustle a little bit harder. Like I said in the beginning of the video, the economy is a little tight right now, so wallets are tighter. So people are holding back. They are still buying candles, and of course, record numbers. That's never going to change. But people are definitely more cautious where they spend their money, which is why I say you're going to have to work a little bit harder, even if you have a good product. So that's why I'm really narrowing down what I want to do, getting into the markets that I want to get into, getting into the stores and the boutiques that I want to get into, and only dealing with the waxes, jars, wicks, and oils that I know are going to do well for me at this moment. So that's pretty much it with this video. Just some of the worries that I have going into 2024, how I'm handling them. And again, there's a lot of new people getting into candle making. It usually happens at the beginning of the year. So anybody new watching this one, this is kind of some of the things that I'm looking at, some of the things that I would suggest you look at going forward. And of course, stay tuned to the next video because I will be going into 2024 candle making and what you should get if you're just now getting into candle making. What else should you be looking at as far as products, candle kits, and kind of how to get started in general. So hit subscribe on the video, hit the bell if you want to be notified when the videos come out, and we'll see you in the next episode.